Live from Arkansas' streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 7 on THV 11 Plus.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on THV 11 Plus. We have already got a very busy morning that has started. Tracy Bean is going to update us on this radar, which is packed with rain all over the place. First, though, we're going to start with Ashley King, who's already monitoring conditions. I walked right in the middle of your live shot a minute ago. Sorry about that.
I needed someone to point out exactly what
I was like,
we were talking
there's
about.
the accident. So hopefully it's an isolated one. But I mean, at 7 o'clock with the weather we got, you're about to be pretty busy.
Yeah, it's just getting going.
It's just getting going. You're right.
Leave plenty of time.
We had that one accident that you were talking about, and now we have 2 more accidents that just popped up. So, yeah, let's get to it. The accident Hayden was talking about is on 440, but there's a new accident that's on 630. This is a look at this accident right here. It is off to the shoulder, but that could cause some slowdowns, especially now that we're in the 7 o'clock hour and we start to see more volume on our roads. So that accident, here's a little bit more details about what you're seeing. So with all of the rain, it was already a little bit slow, but this is near the exit 6A Rodney Parham Road exit on 630 going eastbound, and traffic is moving a little bit slow. I mean, not too bad, but definitely give yourself some extra time. You want to be going a little bit slow today with all of the water that we've seen on our roadways. This accident, they've been working for a little while. This is on on Interstate 440 westbound around exit 5, and it has had one lane blocked and the left-hand shoulder blocked. They had a tow truck on the scene, but you can see it's really slowing things down there if you're going 440 westbound around the river bridge. And then we also have an accident here, right-hand shoulder blocked due to a crash on US 70 eastbound. This is near Liberty Road. So several accidents, and then of course some slowdowns. Jacksonville, make sure you give yourself some extra time. 2 accidents the last 2 days. So with all of this rain, it could be a little bit more dangerous. But Tracy, we're going to check it again coming up.
All right, we do have some patchy fog out there, and again, that heavier rain that is pushing in, so that's slowing everything down this morning. And looking at our map here, as Little Rock, we're down to 2.5, again, a little over a mile there in Hot Springs. We have a dense fog advisory up to the northeast where they're seeing less than a mile of visibility. That's not impacting us just yet, but again, watching the radar here, a lot of rain headed our way, and it has been loud at times, and the thunder, of course, and lots of lightning in a few areas, and then just hearing the rain, the amounts that are coming down. So take your time this morning. All of those major interstates there are rain soaked at this point. So traffic's going to be a little bit cumbersome this morning. And here in central Arkansas, you can see might get a little tiny break here for a second, but off to the east, we're still seeing it. But there is more to come back here off to the west. But we'll keep an eye on things and let you know what to expect. We'll get a little break here and there. We'll get the day hour by hour coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Tracy. We are following new action from President Trump over the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. The president says he's following through on his promise, signing a bill that requires those files to be released.
The Justice Department now has 1 month to turn them over. The legal experts say a new investigation could slow that timeline. Trump has called the Epstein controversy a, quote, hoax, while also working to link the late convicted sex offender to prominent Democrats.
CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more.
The clock is ticking on the release of files related to the government's investigation of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. One day after near unanimous House and Senate approval, late Wednesday, President Trump said he signed the bill requiring the DOJ to release documents within 30 days. In a lengthy post on social media, the president wrote, "This latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats."
I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, but you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers.
President Trump has never been accused of or charged with any wrongdoing in connection to Epstein. Former President Bill Clinton also denies having any knowledge of Epstein's crimes. And there's no evidence of illegal conduct by former Clinton Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. But this week, Summers did announce he's stepping back from teaching at Harvard University and resigning from OpenAI's board after the House released dozens of messages between him and Epstein. President Trump has directed the Justice Department to investigate links between prominent Democrats and the former financier.
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
Former federal prosecutor Tom Dupree warns the investigation could halt the release of some documents.
The Attorney General does have the power to determine that certain documents, if released, would jeopardize an ongoing investigation.
We think every name should come out, everything.
Top congressional Democrats are pressing for the full, unredacted release of the files. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Also developing, interim U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan now says a full grand jury never reviewed the final indictment against former FBI Director James Comey. Her statement came during a hearing on whether that indictment should be dismissed. Comey's attorneys argue he's being targeted politically for speaking out against President Trump. Prosecutors say after the grand jury declined to pursue one of the counts, Halligan presented a revised indictment to the foreperson, but did not take it back to the full panel. Only one other grand juror was present when it was signed and not the entire jury. The admission could get the case against Comey thrown out.
Now to a new update on the case involving former England high school assistant principal Trent Morgan, the basketball coach appearing in court yesterday. A judge set his bond at $250,000. He is now out on bond. Now investigators say they are still piecing together a timeline, working with other agencies in Lonoke County to analyze digital evidence. Police say this case is not wrapped up. A no contact order also with the victim is now in effect. Morgan is due back in court on February 9th. In our next half hour here on THV 11 Plus, we will hear more from England's police chief and what he expects moving forward.
Now to a development in the case surrounding the shooting death of Benton County wrestler Kevin Nickel, known in the ring as Ivan Warsaw. Two suspects, Michael Hogue and Amanda Penny, went before a judge for a bond hearing yesterday. That's days after U.S. Marshals arrested them. Hogue's bond is set at $750,000 on charges of first-degree murder and firearms. Penny's bond is set at $500,000, and prosecutors say the difference reflects their roles in the case.
Some of the things we take into account are a person's criminal history, what that means in terms of the potential punishment for a crime. If a person is convicted of a certain number of felonies in the past, then they have an enhanced sentencing range, so they're subject to more punishment.
Nickel was found shot along Highway 12 in July. Investigators say the case is still active. The two suspects are to return to court for arraignment January 5th. UAMS is expanding a statewide program to call postpartum moms in the weeks after delivery, a move that health leaders say could save lives. Nurses are reaching out directly to new mothers to check on their recovery, baby care, and any warning signs like postpartum preeclampsia, a condition that can be life-threatening. The call center began in May for moms who delivered at UAMS. Now it includes 6 hospitals and has plans to reach all 33 birthing hospitals in Arkansas by year's end. UAMS says the goal is to connect families to care before complications escalate, calling it a first-of-its-kind model to tackle Arkansas's high maternal mortality rate.
The North Little Rock Public Library System plans to end its lease with the Arkansas Regional Innovation Hub in 2026. The hub will continue operations through the end of this year, but library officials say rising costs and changes in grant funding make long-term operations unsustainable. Leaders say the move is meant to protect the library system's financial stability, and staff say programs and employees will continue receiving support throughout this transition. Well, duck season is about to begin on Saturday here in Arkansas, but if you were thinking of doing it in Conway County, you may want to find somewhere else to hunt this weekend. That's because the Game and Fish Commission hasn't been able to repair this pump that thieves stole copper from all the way back in July. Say it's difficult to get the specific parts for the pump, which waters the plants that ducks feed on, also creates a habitat for them. Because of that, Trey Reed with Game and Fish says he would recommend going somewhere else to hunt for the time being.
The other big negative impact, obviously, is duck season's upon us, and there's no water to attract waterfowl and no waters for hunters to hunt birds.
Reed says they hope to have the pump fixed by the end of duck season, when hunting conditions are typically a little better anyways. Now, if you know anything about that copper theft, you are urged to contact the Conway County Sheriff's Office.
Now let's check back in with Ashley King, who is watching the roads closely this morning. Ashley?
Yeah, there are 3 accidents to tell you about already this morning. It's only 7:09, but we've issued a traffic impact alert with all of the rain on the roads. We really need to give ourselves some extra time this morning to get to your destination. This first accident that we're looking at right now is on Interstate 630. This is around the Rodney-Parham exit. You can see there's one vehicle, actually 2 vehicles off to the left-hand side right here. And traffic is moving a little bit slow leading up to this accident, so make sure that you give yourself some extra time if you're going to be traveling on 630 eastbound. We can get a closer look at exactly how slowly it is moving and exactly where this accident is. As you can see right here, with all of the rain on the roadway, it was already moving a little bit slow, but this is doing a little bit more slowing down for us. And then we also have this accident on 440. It looks like it's moving a little bit better around this accident. Hopefully that means it's being cleared. It's around exit 5 on 440 westbound, and that has caused a little bit of an issue if you're coming in there near the river bridge. And then also an accident that has the right-hand shoulder blocked around Liberty Road on US 70 eastbound. And then of course we have our slowdowns going through Jacksonville, where we've seen accidents the last 2 days. So if you're traveling on 57 southbound, what used to be 167, just give yourself some extra time because there have been some lane shifts. They had some lanes that were closed over the weekend. They've been doing a lot of construction in this area on 57. So it's already one of those things where you don't know exactly where the lanes are shifting. You need to give yourself some extra time and slow down through the construction zone. And then the roads are wet this morning. So those are some of our slowdowns so far, including 30 eastbound. But Tracy, we'll get another check on what's going on coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll be dealing with these rounds of rain throughout the commute this morning. And then as we're heading into the afternoon, we'll get a little bit of a break, but we're going to start to see another round pushing in early next week. So those above average temperatures, they are sticking around for a little while. But with all of these multiple rounds of systems pushing through, it's going to lead to a much cooler Thanksgiving, which is going to be great news. But right now we're dealing with some heavy rain in a few areas. I think we're in a tiny little bit of a lull right now, but still seeing some rain out there. And again, those foggy conditions impacting a good portion of the state with that dense fog advisory off to the northeast until 10 a.m. this morning. Take your time. Again, the roads are wet and it is foggy out there. We're getting a little bit of a lull here. That heavier stuff has pushed off to the east and the south, but there is more to come. And again, it's only 7:12 here, so we're going to continue to see this heavy rain throughout this entire commute. And don't forget about the kiddos out there as well. Give them a little extra space as they are catching the bus. And again, just everyone trying to get to where they need to be.